Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope everybody is great. Before I get into today's video, I do want to address some comments that I've received about my videos being a little more surreal lately. People have commented they feel like they're on a bad acid trip.
What do you know about pot? Pot? Is that what you call it?
And so I had to go back and re-watch, and I don't know what any of that is.
There's too much water in that kettle. And now the lid's on crooked. And that means disaster for this lady. Because she is on a boat. Don't boil a kettle on a boat.
Like with all the drops, all the disjointed, like it feels like some of the videos are incomplete because they don't start exactly clean the way they should, or they just kind of break up midway through the video. That's not me. That is YouTube messing with my video after I upload it.
Big time, major league bullshit.
So I do want to apologize because I can see why some of you find it annoying, because you just want to be able to watch a video like this and not have all these distractions, all these interruptions. You just want to see a straight video with no frills, no gimmicks. And I totally get that, and I'm right there with you. What? And I can see how that could be very annoying. When I watch them, I'm annoyed as well.
You're just sitting there being a complete dick.
So I have taken it up with YouTube. They are going to look into it and find out why that keeps happening.
You have to learn to like cigarettes.
But until it does, I do apologize, but it's completely not my fault.
We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us.
So anyway, getting into today's topic, I wanted to talk about some of my favorite bands who they may still be continuing to put out music today, or they may have broken up, but there was a point where they were my favorite band. I bought every single album by them. I loved all of their releases, like 99% of their albums I loved. And then, I don't want to say like they jumped the shark, but there was a moment in time where it was never the same again for this particular band. And yeah, I probably own still some of the records beyond this point, but what I'm going to be showing today is the last album before this band kind of lost me. And I don't mean lost me like I stopped being a fan, but it's
a really groovy topic. I think you'll have a lot of fun learning about it. It's really interesting and groovy.
You're a fucking mumbling, stuttering little fuck, you know that?
Subsequent releases just didn't have the magic of the earlier releases, and as I get into it, maybe it'll make a little more sense. So, first band I want to talk about is INXS. And INXS, obviously, they broke up after... not right after Michael Hutchence died. They had that TV show and they found a replacement singer. They released that album Switch, but after that, I mean, more or less, INXS is no longer a functioning band. But I'm just talking here about the Michael Hutchence era. This was the last INXS album that I really enjoyed from start to finish. The last one that I felt really kind of captured the INXS magic. And I do own quite a few of their releases after X, but it just was never the same after this. Welcome to Wherever You Are, Full Moon, Dirty Hearts. Yeah, I do like several songs on those records, but just in terms of an album that flowed flawlessly, that I enjoyed and continued to play over and over and over again. That was the case with just about every INXS album up until Welcome to Wherever You Are. And then, you know, I wouldn't rush out to buy any of their new releases, and I would just kind of wait until I heard enough songs and then decide whether I wanted to buy it. But anyway, INXS would be one of those. Rush would be another band. This is the last Rush album that I ever really got into. Power Windows, I was a bit underwhelmed, and then Hold Your Fire, just everything after that. The last album that I actually own by Rush would be Presto, but I just cannot get into Rush after that. I don't know why it is, because I'm sure they're all great albums, but they just don't connect with me. I don't have any desire. Like, if I see them in the store, I'm not running up there with my money to buy any of those releases. And I'm talking about, Counterparts or Roll the Bones or Test for Echo, like any of that stuff. I'm just not interested. Like, I know it's available and I could complete my Rush collection, but mine just goes up to Presto. After that, I really have no interest. And, some people don't like the kind of synth-heavy Rush from the 80s. I don't have a problem with it, but this is the last one that I do enjoy from start to finish. After that, Power Windows is kind of hit or miss for me. Same for Hold Your Fire. I can listen to them and enjoy it, but it just doesn't, I don't have the same connection as I do for every Rush album up until this one. Depeche Mode. This is the last Depeche Mode album, Songs of Faith and Devotion, released in 1994. The last one that I really enjoyed from start to finish, that I really play consistently. Ultra, and I don't know if it was because Alan Wilder left. I mean, I know he was probably people considered him the most dispensable member of the band, but come to find out later, like, he really was involved in a lot of the post-production, a lot of the mixing after the album had been recorded. He really did have more of a hands-on approach than even Martin Gore did as far as the finished product and what you got on these records. So when he left after this album, I'm sure a lot of people didn't expect that there was going to be any kind of dramatic fall off in the quality of Depeche Mode's releases. But Ultra, there's about 6 songs on there that I really do enjoy, that I feel are kind of up to the caliber of the pre-Ultra era. But after that, I really feel like there was a steep drop-off. And yes, I own every Depeche Mode studio album after this, but do I play them as much as I do the pre-Ultra Depeche Mode catalog? No, I do not. Like, I'm lucky if I throw even one of those albums on the turntable more than once in a particular year. And the magic just kind of disappeared. And it's kind of a bummer, when you have a favorite band, because I would say Depeche Mode is one of my favorite bands of the 80s, easily top 5. But after this point, just kind of that magic, that excitement when there would be a new release wasn't quite as strong as it was up to this point. The Beach Boys, and I know I'm going to really step into it with this one. I know there's going to be a lot of Beach Boys fans who are going to call me a traitor and disparage my point of view on this particular topic, but the Beach Boys in the 60s, I've always said has been my favorite era of the Beach Boys. And, if I'm going to be honest, it's because of this clown right here, Bruce Johnson. I feel like when he became more of a fully functioning member of the band, they kind of went down the toilet. And this is their last album of the 1960s. It was released in 1969, but it's not a true studio album. It's pretty much, leftover tracks, stuff that they had cobbled together, stuff that they didn't have a place for on any release up to this point. So it was kind of like, okay, this is all the shit that we have left over at the end of the 60s, and we're going to put it on here. But still, I do enjoy it pretty much from start to finish. And yeah, I know the album after this was Sunflower. I've never been a huge Sunflower fan. I've never been a huge fan of the Beach Boys post-1960s. And maybe that makes me less of a Beach Boys fan than some of you out there who are going to tell me I'm crazy because I don't fall head over heels over Sunflower or Surf's Up or Holland or any of those records. And yeah, they do. For me, I do own those records and they do have their moments for me, but just in terms of a cohesive listening experience, there's always like at least a couple tracks that I want to skip over. And I know you could say that about the early Beach Boys, you know, their first album, Surfin' USA and Surfer Girl, Surfin' Safari. But I'm talking, you know, when the Beach Boys really caught fire, like around the All Summer Long album, you know, they hit their stride, and I feel like they pretty much stumbled and fell. Their stride was broken after this particular album. And you can argue with me all you want, but this is just my own personal perspective. If you like the Beach Boys' 70s albums and beyond, more power to you, Chris Profey. But I, in particular, have always maintained that the Beach Boys were never better than in the 60s. And just once Brian Wilson kind of, I don't want to say he lost interest in the band, but when he kind of checked out in the early 70s, I feel like it was just never the same after that. So R.E.M., and this is their last album with Bill Berry. And when Bill Berry announced that he was leaving R.E.M., I'm sure there weren't too many people who, I mean, it was a shock because R.E.M. had maintained the same lineup for many, many years, and then he left. But I don't think there were many people who thought, well, there's going to be a dramatic falling off in terms of quality, or R.E.M.'s going to have to totally revamp their sound to accommodate the loss of Bill Berry. Like, I don't think anybody thought that. But then when we got the album up, and it was just like your jaws dropped when you heard Airport Man and some of the other stuff off that album up, it was like, what in the hell? And it really panicked. I would presume panicked a lot of R.E.M. fans. I know it did me, because it's like, what the hell are we getting here? Are you trying to do a Radiohead Kid A with the album up? So after this, it's just never been the same for R.E.M. with me. And I do own all those records. Of all the ones post New Adventures in Hi-Fi, probably Reveal would be my favorite. But the others just haven't been a fan of. I can't listen to from start to finish and say I really enjoy all of those without question. Achtung Baby, and I maintain if you two had broken up after Achtung Baby, I think we would revere them a lot more than we do today. But this is an example of a band, and I've said this before, stuck around way too long, should have broken up a long time ago. Like, you can break up even if you're still all fully capable of making music and playing your instruments. It's not like with Phil Collins, for example, where it's like he just can't physically play the drums anymore and he's got to pack it in. That doesn't have to be the reason why you break up or you stop making music. But for you two, you know, when the inspiration well runs dry, when you're out of fresh ideas, when you're just trying to chase current trends, I think that's what happened with U2, and that's they started to do a little bit of this. I mean, they reinvented themselves with this album, and I think a lot of us thought, well, they'll still stay true to their identity as U2. And then we got the Zooropa album, and it was like, holy fuck. What is that? Annoying. Anyway, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, but... So anyway, Achtung Baby would be the last U2 album I can listen to from start to finish and really enjoy it. Everything after that, like, I have to cherry pick it. Like, I like a song here, a song there, you know. But as of right now, I haven't bought a new U2 album in quite a while, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. But so anyway, that is my albums, artists that I really like, but hit a wall, jumped the shark, whatever you want to call it. And they just kind of lost their mojo, lost their magic. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the video.
It's really interesting and groovy.